Uh, Johar and greetings to all of you from Tribal Design Forum. My name is Varsha Marikashyap and I shall be hosting the session this evening. Tribal Design Forum is organizing Tribal Futures, 1 month long online festival to celebrate creative and capital of the tribal communities in India. This month long online celebration will bring together exciting art, design, films, and technology professionals from various tribal communities to showcase their talents and also their contribution to respective tribal communities. Through daily evening interactive sessions, and we invite one and all from all sections of society to witness their work, approach, outcome, and impact. Over the last 3 years, Tribal Design Forum has relentlessly worked to identify designers and creative professionals from various tribes of India, identified domain experts from India and around the world, and invited them to at our platform to share their journey and expertise, to work with tribal communities in India and the indigenous cultures around the world at our weekly interactive sessions. So far, we have been able to bring over 185 presenters from over 36 countries to create a knowledge bank of design, art, technology interventions in indigenous communities to create social, cultural, and economic impact. From 185 sessions, we have been able to curate some of the exciting works of artists, designers, illustrators, graphic designers, fashion designers, filmmakers, and other professionals, all from various tribes of India, to put together a lineup of interactive session, which we wish to showcase and engage with audience at this very platform. To create greater awareness of tribal communities, showcase some of the contemporary work done by seriously talented professionals, and continue to explore how art, design, culture, and technology can play an instrumental role in the benefit of the tribal communities in India. Creative professionals from tribes in the Northeast, Ao, Angami, Konyak, Sumi, Khadi, Garo, Galo, Kachari, Lepcha, to the professionals from Central India and East, Gond, Santhal, Oraon, Munda, to professional from the West, Warli, Rathwa, Bhil. We will form a unique ensemble of contemporary tribal imaginations and creativity and will present the rich, vibrant, and diverse tribal communities and cultures in the context of modern time. We invite you to join in this journey to discover a whole new world, a world of tribes in transition. And we are extremely delighted to have with us Rubashi Berman, a young designer who will present a 30-minute online talk on her innovative use of technology to document, preserve, and archive the textile traditions of Bodo culture. In this presentation, Burman will explore the intersections of technology and cultural heritage, demonstrating how digital tools can enhance the understanding and accessibility of traditional craft. She will share her approach to create comprehensive digital archives, including detailed documentations of weaving technology, patterns, and the cultural significance of Bodo textile. Burman will also discuss her effort to make these archives accessible to a broader audience, ensuring that the rich heritage of Bodo textile is preserved for future generations. The presentation will conclude with a 30 minutes Q&A, providing an opportunity for attendees to engage with Burman on the topics such as challenges of digital archiving, the role of technology in culture preservation, and the importance to maintaining cultural identity in the modern context. The presentation will be 30 minutes long in English. Please feel free to put your question, comments, or simple reactions in the chat while presenting on. We would be keen to take up your questions at the interactions after Rubashi presentation. Rubashi, we are indeed delighted to have you with us in Tribal Future Online Festival. The floor is yours, and we are keen to learn and listen.
Hello, thank you, Varsha, for the warm welcome. I hope I'm audible to everyone. So, Johar and Kulumbai to everyone. My name is Rubashi Brahma, and I'm from India, and I belong to Bodo tribe. So, a little bit, I'll just share my, presentation. Just a minute. I'm a multidisciplinary designer, um, and a background about myself that my whole the career revolves around in the creative field. From my childhood I was very much interested in art and design, and therefore I joined NIFT Gandhinagar, and I specialized in fashion communication. In 2020 I graduated, and then I did my full-time job. Also, I continued doing my freelance in graphic design for 2 years. Then in by end of the fall in 2022, I had an opportunity to go to Singapore and do my master's in sustainable fashion, and it was like a turning point for me. To connect. While I was studying about sustainable fashion, it got me look back to my ancestral roots, and it was also at that point where I define myself not just as a designer but as a social designer. So a little bit about community. The Bodo tribe belongs to in a broader terms, it comes under Bodo Kachari, and it is known as to be the earliest settler in Assam, and also the largest indigenous community. As per the language, Bodo is believed to be come from a Tibeto-Burma family, and traditionally, Bodo tribes are agrarian, but other than that, Bodo women are like expert weavers. Even now, if you visit to any villages in Bodo community, you would find they have their own looms at their own house. So the one of the problem I found while doing this research was the modernizations and westernizations are how they are overshadowing the traditional practices, and that is indirectly hampering the younger generations. They are lacking in awareness and appreciations in our textile heritage, and the dominance in design practices in design field. It has been affecting in the value of bringing out the traditional textile as well. So here the quotation, you can see that we often see textile as a material culture but ignore the fact to be a living culture. In fact, it defines that nowadays we just see our traditional clothes as um, a, a, a custom or just a piece of clothes. We are forgetting the value it holds. So, to how can we bring out the value in just a piece of clothes is one of the research questions upon. So according to the research done, about 75% covering an age of 18 to 26, the youth they couldn't recognize any Bodo old motif or could name. So mainly our cause to look at is the loss of culture and identity. How can we bring back our culture and identity, looking back both into the current scenario and the past scenario. So one of the discourse it came up when I was going through how can we preserve our culture and identity. One of the important thing is the ICH, intangible culture heritage. But here in UNESCO, they have mentioned that in order to preserve ICH, we need a different approach. It cannot be same as how we preserve our tangible heritage, because they believe that ICH keep on changing, and that is true. But they've also mentioned that all heritage is intangible. So here comes, a discourse where I would like to say that in order to preserve any heritage, we first need our ICH to be preserved, as it is like interrelated, both tangible and intangible cultural heritage. So my project aim was to sustaining the textile heritage as a tangible representation of culture and identity by understanding and acknowledging the intangible cultural heritage, as I said, by knowing their interrelation. So here's another quote by Robert. Design creates culture, culture shapes value, and value determines the future. So this quote actually briefed about my whole journey about this project. Um, so we often actually see design as a fashion or a creative field that is linked with the aesthetics. But I would like to say design is more than creating beautiful designs or something that's related to aesthetics. Design is something that we are planning, and it's more like a problem solving, to go and dive into the deep rooted problems and then find out the problems. So I feel design is one of the solutions to also safeguard our textile heritage in this context, and how let's just see how it's like connected with the project. The culture shapes value. Yeah. So one of the oldest folk religion, Bathoism, also known as Batho in Bodo, where Ba means five and Tho means the deep philosophical thoughts. So we have these five elements: air, fire, water, and ether. They have their specific color. On the right side, you can see this as a flag as well. So as we all know, each color holds emotions, and it can actually represent and a story through the colors and the meaning. So one of the idea I came up with during my residency project was to gather the designers as well as the weavers, and it was like a ice-breaking activity among us, to the questions, how can we bring back the value. So this activity was more like a meaning making process. It doesn't have to be like precisely uh, uh, right, but it was more like we are making this story and we are connecting this old textiles with the five elements and the natures. So one of the example I would like to give that bar, which means air, which it is associated with the color yellow, and we have chosen this specific fabric or a textile. Um, it is called Daurai Mekreb, which is the bird's eye. As we know that birds used to be like our communicators, or I would say a messenger in the older times. So that's how we have linked the colors and the natures through this story. Other than that, we have worked with as such, the oral cultures, how all the poems, the folklores are related to this each textiles. The value determines the future. So here, after like collecting all the information in the documentations, there needs to be a solution. So I came up with this two brief, where I created this interactive form. The idea was to safeguard the knowledges we have all collected and document the same, all the indigenous knowledges and their belief systems. Other than that, we are connecting this information with a tangible product. For me, here I've used as a textile, and then there was a platform to connect this boat, and through that I wanted to showcase the idea of the interrelation between the tangible and intangible. So yeah, I mainly focused on industrial development, and I chose digital textile is mainly as my byproduct, and to do this whole project on this medium. Why? Because I feel like other than our handloom sector, which we have a great opportunity for us to look into a tech based, how can we develop our industrial industry as well. So during the residency also, I kind of got to know that we do have our machineries such as embroidery, knitting, and also digital printing, and our government have been giving a free software learnings to villagers and also interested viewers who wanted to know more about the software, which is a great thing. And but there was a gap in producing our own local designs. Excuse me, I've catch a cold. uh, what it was mainly like their it was like a manufacturing unit where designs were given, and they have also taken mainly design from outside or just internet, and there so it became just like a producing unit, rather than creating our own indigenous textile. And there's a huge opportunity for us to look in this to matter as well. So I created this interactive platform. I named it as Text File, which is a port manure between these two words, textile and file. So metaphorically, it's saying that preserving indigenous textile heritage and their knowledges. So this interactive platform help us encode and decode the language of motifs and patterns that were lost. So the idea was to inbuild the QR code into the motif and the pattern, that it can be, a wearable form. Another one of the outcome which shows the how we are bridging gap between the Gen Z and the generation boomer. So this is one of the oldest motifs that we found out through this application. And this is done how the Gen Z, they have connected with their grandparents, and they have shared their story, and then through our app they have recreated, and we have documented this old motif. So these are some of the outcomes. We work with table mats, mainly home decors, and also we try to recreate the scarf, the Boro Aronai that I'm also wearing right now. So this is like experience in more digital form. We have also worked with the patchworks that can be directly put upon jackets or any kind of apparels. And currently, I'm running a page, House of Agor, in Instagram, and we have made a collection of streetwear where we are sharing, the stories and the folklores through this contemporary designs in t-shirts. So mainly our target audiences are young audiences. That's why I felt like it will be a great connect through t-shirts. How contemporarily we are connecting with. And for the future prospect, yes, there's a huge, collaborations for our creatives. And not only we are looking into a Bodo tribe, but we would love to expand it to the other tribes to preserve their lost culture and heritage. And this project is mainly done in, textile based. So there's a huge opportunity for us to look into other heritage as well. That is food heritage, music, instrumental. So yeah. Mm, thank you so much. You can scan this and you can get connected with me. I would like to share one short video about this application, which will give you a brief about it. Yeah. Varsha, are you going to share the video?
Yes, sure. Right.
Yeah.
Nabashi, that was an amazing presentation, by the way. It was pretty fast, but yes, it was really good. So, yes, I would like to say that your presentations and the work you are doing, you are the actual representations of a tribe in transition. People, new young designers like you, tribal designers, adapting new technology to preserve their heritage, their community, their indigenous knowledge system, and that is really something to be appreciated. And
Thank you so much.
um, no, actually, thank you to you because your work is definitely the text file is a true metaphor for preserving traditional textile and their knowledge. It's, I think that name text file is really nice.
Thank
So,
you so much. Yeah. Any.
so before going into a Q&A session, um,
Mhm.
I would like to ask you a few questions. And before asking a question, I would like to quote a quotation that you quoted during presentation, which was design as one of the solution to safeguard our textile heritage. So this is what you said.
Correct.
So can you please elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So, I would define design as something that we are creating or planning something for a specific function, uh, or having something, proper thing to solve in our mind. So, as I said, most of us, when we listen to design, we directly connect with, fashion or art. Um, it does come under that, but design is, a broader term. I would say to look design as a problem solving. Things like, design thinking, there's a specific way how to, connect with the community, and then have empathetic towards them, and to sit with them, learn with them. It's a process, it's an ongoing process to come and listen to them and to solve their problem. This is part of a design, I would say. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Design uh, play a very significant role in the society right now because people take design more connect to design with fashion and other things rather than create connecting it to a process
Yeah.
of better conservation or preserving uh, things. So here's my first question, which I would like to ask. So I wanted to
Mhm.
know that what are the challenges that you have faced being a social designer, as you mentioned before earlier in your presentation, that
Yeah.
uh, when you went to study in Singapore, you
Mhm.
discovered about what being a social designer is. So, what are the challenges you have faced being a social designer?
Okay, yeah. You know, in end of 2021, no, sorry, 2022, as I said, when I was doing my residency, um, I went back to my village, Kokrajhar, to do this whole research. So, sustainable fashion is something that we have been doing for years. Our ancestor has been doing for years and years. It is about how we are making our clothes, traditionally weaving our clothes, using sustainable fabrics like Indi silk or Eri silk, which is one of the also known as an ahimsa silk, cottons, linen, all the natural dyes we are using in the clothes. So it is not something new that we can learn, but it has, as I said, our ancestor has been doing that, and now it has become a trend, and it's coming to our fashion world. So I thought, why not go back to my own community and learn from that? As you ask about the biggest challenges, I would say that it was to connect with the community, and language barrier was one of my problem. I come from a multilingual family, and we mainly talk in Assamese. And in my family, I have seen, the dominance power over, tribes and upper caste and lower caste. But anyway, during my residency journey, my mom and my uncles helped me a lot during the process. It's like translations. They also helped me to connect with communities, the all our part of villagers. So during that time, it was like a kind of a epiphany for me to know. And also, I had in my mind, I was like, I don't know anything about my own tribe, and it was quite regretful for me. So it pushed me more to work in this matter, and I'm still expanding my project, and it will be my forever master's project, I would say. And related to that, yeah, my mother actually comes from a very rich cultural family. Our great grandfather, who was also a Padma Shri holder, the first Padma Shri holder in Bodo community, and their grandchildren as well. They fought for their rights. They have been doing so much in culture and heritage to preserve. And as I grew old, I also saw in the world how their preservations are getting lost as well. So as a designer, I found this as a gap, and I wanted to bridge this gap by bringing the solutions in today's context. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, how you've been able to identify knowledge keepers from the communities to authenticate and verify the textile-based motifs?
So it was my great grandfather. He was a poeter, and he used to write a lot of stories. Uh, Through that, we have linked. It was a long process for more than like 6 months to connect and go through the old books. Then I went for the library. Then we have museum studies as well. So it was a long process to connect bits and bits, and then of course doing interviews, and documenting every informations, and we try to recheck it with other uh, you know elderlies as well in the village. So that's how we have been documenting, and it's still in ongoing processes.
Nice, nice to hear that it's still a process. I would also like to ask a few more questions. While working in the documentation project, how are you able to ensure the data sovereignty and the knowledge sovereignty of the tribal community? Rubashi, you're on mute.
Oh, I was saying, can you please repeat the question?
So, while working in the documentation project, how are you able to ensure the data sovereignty and the knowledge sovereignty of the tribal community?
As in, like, how it is like correct information, you're asking that?
Yes, in protecting it and how is the correct information and
uh
ensuring that.
as Yeah.
Ha, ha,
As I
continue.
said, yeah, we have been like going people to people, correcting the data, and then we are reassuring if it's correct or not.
Will you please turn on your camera? I'm really sorry for that.
Yeah, was I audible?
Yes, yes, you were audible.
Mm.
Okay, and what are the steps ensure that the ownership of the traditional heritage says with the respective communities?
Ownership, as QR code. As I used QR code in my project, this will be a great, system to use in the whole project, how we are connecting and from whom we are collecting the data, we would be directly putting into the interactive page. So we are not only, carrying uh, the textile you are wearing or uh, taking with you, but you can directly connect through the QR code, and we are reassuring through QR code that how the process has been done. And that's why I feel the documentation process is one of the major um, thing to look at while doing the research.
Okay. So, one last question from my side, then I'll proceed with the attendees. Uh,
Yeah.
so, where do textile design students and young designers go wrong when dealing with the visual and material culture of a tribal community like yours?
Um, I would say like how designers currently right now are, they have been making beautiful clothes, using our motifs or patterns. But at the point where we are doing unethical, greenwashing, kind of like you are showing it's a sustainable fabric, or we have hand woven it, but as a marketing, when you are selling it, you are actually you wrongly showing that it has been ethically done. But when you go deep dive into it, you know that there has been some mishappening in the process. I did face this when I was also doing my research work. Uh, People are collecting the motifs and designs, then without proper knowledge or the research they have been using, and it has been homogenized. Basically, um, uh, I won't take a name, but so what they do is they give the textile to be made outside, and it is like done, machinery made, but they just do the patchwork thing by putting it in a handloom form. But they sell it as it's a complete, the complete dress is made from hand woven fabrics. But in gaps in between it, that there is a greenwashing going on. So I would like to emphasize in that matter. Yeah.
Is that true? So, because I think everyone, uh, most of the tribal community faces cultural appropriation. People
Hmm.
taking inspiration from a particular tribes, their motifs, their textile, and then just eliminating the entire process and printing it on the fabric. So let's move forward with the session, and we'll go with the comments and questions which our attendees are posting in the chat box. So Anuradha
Sure.
here says, very nice. I'm also wearing a yellow-red handloom Aroni. Your work is unique.
Thank you so much, Anuradha.
Anupam Purti says, great presentation, precise and informative. And he has a question as well. He
Yeah.
says, when and how did you get the idea that creating a digital archive could be a possible solution for the design problem?
Okay. So as I said, when I was studying and doing the research work, we already have a very big sector in our Northeast in handloom and handcraft sector, right? But there was a gap in industrial development as well. So and I for my project I mainly focused on preserving the indigenous knowledges, and therefore uh, by acknowledging the handloom and handcraft sector as well. So what we are doing right now is we are getting the um, textiles, handloom textiles, and then we are collecting all these old lost motifs, and then uh, digitally printing upon it. So it becomes one of the sector, and as in the modern context, we not only you should be stuck in one sector, but we should kind of expand, I feel like. And now we are not only like looking into QR sectors. There is other lot of opportunities look in artificial intelligence as well. So as new approaches are coming with appreciation of our traditional way of making, we should also connect with our technologies. Yeah.
Hopefully, Anupam, you would have received your answer. Shweta here says, great presentation, Rabashi, while working in the documentation project.
Thank you so much.
Vidula here has a question. So, not a question, just a remark. Really enjoyed listening to your presentation. I have a question about the work that you are doing. I wish to know how you are directly impacting the lives of the viewers economically as they are the center of your work. Do you see values in promoting Bodo textile as it is rather than making t-shirt that are printed with the motifs of the culture?
Yeah, Vidula, that was a really nice question. And I do get this question a lot, like, how am I using t-shirts to promote my culture and, identity? So, I would say, rather than when we are connecting with our youth, right, we have to also know how their thinking process is, how would they really would like to connect with their culture. Now we do see obviously people wearing their traditional dresses and everything, but if you really go dive into their mind, um, they actually see their traditional dress as a customary dress, not as a appreciation that it holds a value. So we would wear traditional dress when there is some specific events, or say for example wedding or something like that. But so when I was doing this interview with one of the youth, uh so and the survey that we came up with is like, they actually don't know what the value it holds, the story it holds, uh, so one of the main important thing is to bring this value into their mind. So once you know it's not just a piece of clothes, you have your own culture and identity there. And as motif and patterns holds your whole story, you can look back to your own lost story to bring back and preserve the same. So I hope that answers your questions. Why it's important to, yeah.
If you have any further question, Vidula, I think you can interact with Urvashi.
Yeah, you can directly ask me. Yes.
So Ariba here says, when you say you made a survey or clarify about the design, is your target audience only in a particular place and the approximation made population of your community? I want to understand the vastness of your topic.
When you say, I'm not getting the question.
So I think he wants to understand how big your project was uh, in terms of the people you were dealing in, specifically in your research process, the population, the kind of people you interacted with. So how
Mm,
vastly big your project was and what were the
mm.
challenges you faced?
Okay, so you know, when you do your research, I genuinely feel we should start with our own community, because you know the don'ts and do's, and you can also recheck with your own community. So as I said, it this will be not just based in Bodo community. You would be expanding and looking at other communities as well to preserve their culture and identity. And yeah, so currently our target audience is the young audiences, in order to bring this, influence in them, that how important is intangible cultural heritages. Yeah, I hope you got the answer.
Anuradha here says, do you feel that in any way the Bodo land movement influential people like Pramod Bodo and Hagrama working to preserve the textile as it's related to identity?
Mm, I would say, of course, they do influence to, preserve our textile. I won't go in a political line, but one of the major problem we are facing right now is not we are not looking all together as a whole. When we, look at our political leaders, they are do working a lot to preserve that, textiles, or rather I would say the whole heritage of our community. But I guess we have to come together in order to, mm, bring change. Bring the changes come when we all come together, I feel. Yeah.
Uh, DJ Revere says,
Okay,
awesome
okay.
presentation, Rubashi. What are the major challenges right now for growing the business project House of Agor?
Yeah, correct. So yeah, currently I've been expanding my master's project into, as a social entrepreneur. I'm also expanding it in a business line. So in a business line, it's very much, important to, when specifically work as a social designer, we are not just thinking about, profit. We are also connecting with our community in a rightful way. So in order to, as many questions came up, how like rightfully I'm preserving the knowledges and putting it in a, social media currently. And nowadays we face a lot of backlashes when you put up a wrong informations. So I guess this whole process of, going through and having the copyright issue, and we are correcting it again and again, and then it's a long process actually. And it's when we see the design, we feel like it's a normal design anyone can do. But to bring up this actual design, and the stories we have preserved, and also, sustainably how we are taking this step. And that's one of the biggest challenge, I would say, currently right now.
I think that would have answered your question. Anupam has another question. You mentioned that there is an increased interest among the youth about the traditional clothing. What steps uh, can can be taken to speed up the interest toward cultural preservation?
Speed up, as this is also one of the work, by sharing this idea. um, so the interactive platform that I have, that I'm still creating, and it is connected with the designer clothes that we are making right now. So it is going to be a great conversation, I believe, when youth are coming together and sharing their own all knowledges. And also it's a platform where it's not just, learning, but you are putting your own preservation and your knowledges into it. So I would say the platform, the interactive platform, it is more like motif Wikipedia, where we are coming together and then preserving our own cultures. So it's not only a great activity, but I guess it is going to be, you know bring this cultural preservation interest among the youth. How do you see?
Yashashri Anand says, great presentation. It feels extremely satisfying to see the youth taking such initiatives toward preserving their roots. As your approach in design ways, you must also work on including the importance of cultural heritage and its preservation in the educational institutions of the region. Anuradha has another question. She asks, how do you see the other religion playing a role in preserving the textile heritage in Bodoland? Are they facilitating the process or acting as a barrier?
Hi, Anuradha. I would say it is the mix of both, It acts as a barrier as well, but also boon at the same time. Um, how, okay, I'm just rereading your question. Oh, sorry, I just read it wrongly. I don't think there there is specifically any barrier, but it is our own, uh, way of doing as a designer, or as a researcher. If you do a project in specific area, you have to be really careful about how you are using your own knowledges, and how you're spreading the ideation or the informations. Nowadays, a lot of our old motifs has been homogenized in other states. You can see in Tamil Nadu as well, and in the Kerala side, they have been printing the Hajo Agar prints, and I guess it's not any other community's role to now sometimes they say that is their original motif, but at the same time, our communities are saying that no, it has been copied and everything, but it is actually our role as a designer, how we are preserving our designs, and rightfully putting it into internet. And yeah, that's why I feel like social media act as a very important platform, how we are safeguarding our knowledges.
So,
Sure, yeah.
proceeding with, so moving forward, I would like to go with one last question before ending the session. So, what
Sure.
is your stand on people from outside your community take visual
Another
elements
question.
from your community and using to create their own product under their brand or label? Would you encourage it or discourage it, and why?
Uh, Using our original motif, I guess it's a question. It's still in my mind. Um, So, what we are doing is we are collecting all the old motif, and then we are recreating it in our own, way. So most of them are hand drawn, hand painted, and then we are digitally recreating the designs. So in that matter, if you take the design that we have created, the inspired design, that I guess that will be a problem with the copyrights. Other than that, if you rightfully use our designs in a way, with proper credits and everything, that it belongs to a Bodo community, or say rather other community. So I guess it's okay to use the design.
So I think we can take this last question and no,
Yeah, sure.
after this last question, we won't be taking any questions further. So, do you have any plans to protect your design motives and interests of your community? People are days easily get away with this, making profit out of it. I think that's the same as we discussed.
Yes, definitely. Currently I'm working in, uh, giving a private level to my company, and I would share a lot of, inside processes in making the designs, and what goes through in making one t-shirts, or a textile. So I guess it's not feasible for us to trademark every design, or it becomes quite expensive, mainly for startup like us. And therefore I guess I would definitely try to protect as much as I can, through sharing the process behind the scenes of making the clothes, and would require your, support to do that. So yeah, do check out our page, House of Agor. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending Rubashi's presentation today. And thank you, Rubashi, for joining in with our Tribal Futures Festival. So, while I would like to mention a quote that you uh, presented in your presentation, that we often see textile as a material culture, but ignore the fact to be a living culture. That is such a wonderful saying.
Right.
Definitely, for tribals, textile has never been a material culture. It has always uh, showcased or signifies a particular community because of the particular attire or the particular motive or the particular fabric that they own. With
Right.
this, thank you, Rubashi, and we'll be ending our session. Before
Thank you so
ending
much.
it, I would like to share about our upcoming sessions, which will be coming. Our upcoming sessions for the event, the Tribal Design Forum sessions are coming. So, our the next big event which is going to happen is happening in Kohima. So we are having another boot camp, which took place last year. This time it's taking place in Kohima from October 2nd to October 4th, and it is in partner with the Woven Threads. And our next session uh, boot camp, just immediately after Kohima boot camp, is TDF Ukrul, which is taking place, which is hosted and organized by Ishi. It is it would be a pleasure for you all to join in with us during this too beautiful event, which is locally taking place in this spaces where we going to learn about tribal culture, indigenous knowledge, and explore sustainability, and also to learn more about the local economy. And we'll end this session with our upcoming event, which is happening tomorrow, 13th of August, same time, 7:30 p.m. Alan Satyajit Shaw, uh, he is from Orao community, and he will be telling us stories through his illustrations. With this, we'll end our session. Thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you Rubashi for presenting such a lovely presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you.